Good morning everybody and welcome back. You know how I've been playing through this game doing dumb shit for your entertainment. Well, I might have been doing some dumb shit again. Oh, my boys, my sweet innocent boys, mowed down by machine guns and poison gas, you rat bastards. We're going to start the zombie apocalypse and we're going to save the old world from the age of Sigmar, even if it kills them. Our journey to undead supremacy began in the plague-ridden swamps of this place. The hero of today is Hellman Gorse, the arch-necromancer of undead, whose greatest feat so far in life has been calling shotgun in the family's cart in perpetuity. Anyway, since we were going to start the zombie apocalypse and not the zombies, ghouls, vampires and skeleton apocalypse, the first thing we had to do was to kick everyone who didn't fit that description off the team, by which I mean we dug a big ass hole in the middle of nowhere and we put them all in it. Yeah, having purified our ranks, we went to do our part so the citizens of the Empire can continue saying that there is no such thing as gigantic ratmen living in the sewers underneath their cities. With the ratmen dealt with, a new settlement to call home, and a freshly dug up army of barely decomposed friends, we made a push to the north. The ogres who dwelt there put up more of a fight than the ratmen did, but thanks to our superior tactics of forming a blob, we couldn't lose. After that, as we were walking along on our way to colonize an abandoned settlement with the boys, we were suddenly attacked by the same ratmen from before. Turns out that they weren't very happy with us having forcefully evicted them from the previous home. So, to spite us, they reburied all of our newly dug up zombies, like they were nothing more than disgusting, fleshless skeletons. So, like any reasonable person would, we then perpetuated the circle of hate and violence, because we are right and they are objectively wrong. We then accepted 3,000 gold for a peace treaty I had no intention of keeping and found a new friend in the form of Kugath Plaguefather, and as a true friend he immediately declared war on us in order to stop us from breaking our peace deal and sullying our honor. Be like me, get you a friend who actually cares. 12 turns of grinding later and we had gained somewhere to spend our winter holidays. During all of that, we were also asked to contribute our hard-earned money to not one, but two different charities, one of which were a little bit more reasonable than the other. But since I'm a firm believer in that all charities are controlled by a shadowy charity cabal with nefarious plans like feeding the poor or saving cute baby animals, I naturally declined. You'll get my money when you pry it from my cold, undead fucking hands. And instead, I made them a counter-offer they couldn't refuse. If Greases didn't become my vassal, I would turn him into a boomer from Left 4 Dead and steal his mobility scooter. Did this fit with the whole zombie apocalypse deal we were going with? No. With our northern border protected, we went to deal with the spicy dwarves, because we do not forget and we definitely do not forgive, which is why we also kicked in the door of the rat people on the way over there. And since most of the civilized world doesn't recognize them as living, feeling beings, the things we did to them couldn't technically be classified as war crimes. And with that, we had ended our third faction. Things were going pretty well. A little too well, according to the angriest mushroom in the Mushroom Kingdom. Well, fuck you too, Grimgor, you piece of shit. So we had to show them that even though we might not be as fun guys as them, we still knew how to have a good time. 15 turns later, and Grimgor had decided that declaring war on the guy with literally unlimited amounts of soldiers wasn't a very good idea after all, and suit for peace. Being in a good mood, I decided that not only would we have peace, I would also give him back one of the cities I just took from him, and all he had to do was to swear his undying allegiance and pay me a cool 8,000 gold. Did I really need to take this money from my new ally? Yes. Yes, I did. We had also stomped out the spicy dwarves from before, soaked about 1 billion arrows from Imric and his piece of shit pointy-eared freaks, secured ourselves a nice little empire, and become the #1 strongest faction in the game, with a staggering 17 armies. Nice. Having expanded to the north and west, I thought it was time to start preparing for our eventual invasion of the east. As the strike force was assembling, we noticed that Skorsnik, the little goblin, had been having quite a rough time against the dwarves. So, since we didn't have much else going on at the moment, we decided to make his day that much worse. We also saw that Quick Headtaker, the main rat man in the area, was beating up on some short king. So we sent in 4 armies to beat up on him, because we are nothing if not the protector of the weak. At the same time as our absorption of our smaller neighbors to the west, and no, I am not referring to their height, even though it would be an accurate description, we also began our invasion of the east. We had gathered 6 full stacks for the operation, with more on the way. Having secured our foothold, we split the army into 2 groups and took this one, that one, all of these, killed these, those, and them. On the west side of the map, we had finally fought our way through the mountains and made our way to Carrack 8 Peaks, which to nobody's surprise was filled with even more rat people. Well, what a surprise! The abandoned mountain stronghold is filled with rats. Who could have seen that one fucking coming? God damn! We then got ambushed. They went World War I on my ass with warpstone, poison gas and machine guns. But, like Russia, we learned our lesson and countered their machine guns with human wave tactics. Having pretty much purged our valley of all undesirables, we went to make a push towards the beautiful, peaceful lands of the Empire, so we could turn their lush green fields and forests into something more in line with our undead disposition. But standing in the way was Mr. T's significantly shorter, unhinged cousin, whose only wish in life was to fucking die. Being a people pleaser by nature, we naturally decided to help the guy out. The only problem was that he was fucking unbreakable. Fuck! So what should have been a short 10-minute thing turned into a 53-minute hostage situation, where I couldn't leave because he would understandably kill my entire army on his own as I retreated. So I just had to sit there and fucking take it. And guess what happened next? That's right, another ambush, but this time it was in the east, and instead of mustard gas, it was ninjas. Well, I don't actually know if they were all ninjas, but they all looked the same to me, so I'm just gonna assume that they were. Having decided that capturing Altdorf would be our arbitrary victory condition, I decided to march our southern armies north, so we could capture the Empire in a pincer maneuver. This also allowed us to tip over the Dwarven King's litter as an epic prank. Sure, he did suffer from a fatal case of death as a direct result of our boisterous action, but with the ironclad defense of "it's just a prank, bro," we remain at large. With the unintentional assassination of the Dwarven High King, we managed to intimidate Queek enough to accept that a life of servitude under us is much preferable to no life at all, which meant that we now had 4 vassals. Did it actually help us in any tangible way to have all of these vassals? No. Having pretty much wiped out fancy China at this point, we were starting to face the other inhabitants of the Far East, specifically the Dark Elves under Lokier Fellheart, who as the rest of his kind are basically regular elves, but with more of a Sweet Home Alabama vibe to them. Having accepted their declaration of war, we won a short victory, which means that all of the people we had killed up to this point had died for a very good reason. I don't know what that reason is, but it sounded like a good thing to say. Since we weren't satisfied with just a short victory, we turned our attentions towards the Empire. But between us and our goal stood Vlad von Karstein, the arch-nerd of vampiredom, and even though he is a soft blood drinker and not a shad necromancer, I decided to magnanimously offer him to become my vassal. He didn't accept. At the same time, on the other side of the map, we had also declared war on the lizard men, who boldly had immigrated from South America to mainland China. Now, it's important that you know that I don't think that everyone living in South America are lizard people. That would be absolutely ridiculous. It's only the Argentinians. And with that, we had basically abandoned the Far East in favor of turning the Empire into the Deadpire. See what I did there? The Deadpire, because we're undead and we're going to... Never mind! We then faced off against Vlad in our first mano fight, where our zombies tore his pitiful skeletons to pieces, they sent his ghost back to the afterlife with their fists, and then we killed Vlad in a drive-by in our cart. Things were going very well, but Vlad wasn't the only non-Empire faction we had to go through to achieve our goal. We also had to fight some sentient trees, and I didn't think much of it at the time, but it turns out that a gigantic treeman in their army was unbreakable. So we spent the coming 37 minutes in what can only be described as Andre the Giant facing off against the Lollipop Guild. Nice. Afterwards, I decided that no one else would have to suffer as I had suffered, and through the kindness of my heart, I purged every sentient tree, woodland creature, and elf I could get my cold, undead hands on, because that's what good guys do. After which, in an attempt to wrap up the video, we asked all friends to be a good sport and become our vassal. Because to be honest, engulfing the enemy army in zombies and slowly watching them be mauled to death is starting to eat away on my sanity. Anyway, Carl refused my offer, which is fair enough. What isn't cool, however, was the fact that he then called up all of his boys and convinced them to declare war on us. But don't worry about it, what are they gonna do? Fucking kill us? You can't kill what's already dead. At least that's what Vlad thought until I let the homeboys beat that particular misconception out of him, along with his life. Hell yeah. As we were advancing on Altdorf with our horde of zombies, Carl did come out in an attempt to stem the undead tide, but he got shotgunned in the face by our magic missile and fucking died, so it didn't really do much. The armies they sent out to stop us did nothing but swell our ranks, and not before long we had gathered outside the walls of Altdorf, where we fought a very underwhelming siege that didn't live up to the epic finale I had envisioned. So instead of showing you, I made this drawing in paint. And no, I don't take requests. Anyway, if you lasted this long, click the like button. You earned it. And as usual, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.